behave like that, you will never develop. You will just like a colony. You will just live just like an animal. I'm sorry to make this statement. Or else, learn the lessons, come out of it, develop your own technology. And that is what this government is doing. Not just we people, 105 countries, they are planning to come out with their, right now, most of the transactions, everything is settled in dollar terms. We want to come out of that. What we have done this, recently we launched, that digital currency is the first step in that direction. Yes. And it will be settled in bilaterally between Russia and India. We don't know how it may be in Indian rupee or Russian ruble. It depends on our understanding. But these days have started. Definitely, it has started. How it will go, I think in another 25 years, I can't hazard a guess. 25 years is too much of a big time in the field of economics. But I feel in the next maximum 5 years, I feel the great days of America, it's all over. It is on the other side of the hill. Even China, I have my own view. I think the best days of India is just commencing, because we don't believe in, even think of in our family, I say, husband never thinks of bossing over his wife. We are the equal terms, we think. Ardhana Ishvara, from the God also it comments, you are my better half. This is the way we think, So I feel the best days of India has just commenced. How it will be currency, no, I can't hazard a guess. I really don't know. But I feel the days of America are over, the days of China, I think it has commenced. But some part, when you try to control the entire world, it will stop. The world is bipolar. In the coming years, it will become a multipolar world. Because majority of the countries, you cannot remain as a manufacturing country. India is not only a great manufacturer, we are a great consumer also. So on both the sides, we are having strength. The net effect is, remember, it is not just the 7-8 countries. In the another 10 to maximum 15 months, nearly 80 countries are going to have their own digital currency. What is the reason? They are afraid of America's hegemony. That will stop. So what it will happen, we don't know. But this much is certain. If Narendra Modi continues as a Prime Minister, India will lead from the front. That's all I can tell. Thank you very much.
Absolutely fantastic, sir. Thank you so much. Sorry that, the time we had given for the talk was 2 to 3:30. We started a little late, and these two gentlemen, Sri Bhatt and Madam, they have other things to go. Yes, yes, yes. Sit. Like, sir, ಸಾಯಂಕಾಲ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ನಾವು ಹೇಳೋ ಮಂತ್ರ ದೀಪೋತ್ಸವ ನಮೋಸ್ತಾಯಿ. ನಿಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಹೌದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹೆಸರು ದೀಪದಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಳಗ್ತಾ ಇರಲಿ. ಮಹಾಲಕ್ಷ್ಮಿ ನಿಮಗೆ. Thank you so much.
Now you can turn the chair this way now.
Yes, sir. Sir, we can be a little more free. Let's look at the world from a very different perspective. I love movie.
Government control is gone.
Yes, yes, yes. And I love Harrison Ford. I love Indiana Jones. Okay, now, come again? I heard something. Anyway, sir. So just before we get into that, because you are the technologist on the panel, sir, we've been hearing in the last 3 days or 4 days that the government of India is trying to get in 20% ethanol so that, our cost of petrol could come down. That's again a technology thing. From the computer side, we have Metaverse coming up, Bharos, having cut into a thing, Indian version of the Google. Okay, you also heard about Bard taking on with ChatGPT. All these techniques are supposed to be very, very good. As a technologist, what is your take on this? And one more thing just to be added to this, as I read in the papers, I don't know too much about this. A 78-year-old Harrison Ford now, who's going to act in Raiders of the Lost Ark again, and he's going to be made 20 years younger. All with technology. We know very well that the Bond movie was made in Bangalore. The last Daniel Craig film was made in Bangalore actually. Though shooting happened in other places. Technology and those things had done it out here. What do you feel about these new things that are coming up? Could you give some idea to our people on what these things going to be?
Right. So basically, there are so many things. Essentially, he's asking how the future looks like with the. So I mean, while I'm older biologically, I'm quite young when it comes to using techs. I'm always excited about, I buy 3 or 4 mobile phones a year and have 6, 7 watches also, all techie stuff. I don't wear them, but I have them because it's just so much fun. Because there's so much going on. Every 6 months, something new comes up. And so specifically about ethanol and others, which is slightly, he branded me as the technologist, so he always throws all that boring questions at me. Ethanol and petrol and all that. So I will say it. This is good because...
2, 3 questions put together.
No, it's perfect, I'm happy. So ethanol part, I mean, this is a very, very exciting thing actually that we are doing ethanol. Ethanol is made in our own country, right? So if 20% of our fuel is made in our own country, you can imagine, first of all, we are utilizing the resources that would have thrown otherwise, because that we are converting that into biodiesel and other things, and we are reducing import. I mean, believe it or not, just in the last few years, our renewable energy has gone up to almost 20%. Renewable energy that existed, that was 1% earlier. Now earlier Manmohan Singh used to inaugurate 100 megawatt plants. Now 100 megawatt sounds a lot, but now we have 10 gigabyte, 1,000 times bigger, 10 times, 100 times bigger, and nobody even goes to inaugurate. We just becomes added as part of our statistic. Just a few years ago, anything happened like, oh, India joins one of the 10 countries in the world, and it used to be so exciting. As a kid, 50 years ago or so, I used to be so thrilled to imagine that India can also be a player. Nowadays, we take it as given. When I was telling somebody else that I live in HSR area, so I said 5-kilometer radius that covers Koramangala, HSR, part of Bellandur. 5 kilometers area from HSR has more startups than London, and more unicorns than England. 5 kilometers of HSR. I don't even include Rajaji Nagar and the rest of Bangalore. Not just one country, one city, one neighborhood of Bangalore is bigger than entire England. And we speak their language as if, I don't know, I mean, we have to do that. But the thing is that we have become so much bigger than other countries. Secondly, I think Vishwanath already mentioned, I was going to say this today, that US is breaking down. So we are going up, but they are coming down. They're not staying there. They're not going up. They're coming down. And the US has a huge fundamental structural problem of the economy. They don't manufacture much. They don't do anything. They just print dollars. Other countries buy dollars, and with that money, they buy cars and other stuff. There's very little. Their maximum export of America is not technology or defense. It is petrol. We never think about it. We think that America must be exporting only such thing. So we are 5th in absolute terms. We are 3rd in purchasing power parity today. But very soon, when we think of moving up, I think even if we just stay 6 or 7%, others are going to drop down. And the bottom 2 will go away from us already, even if we don't do much. They are already declining. The European economy is not structurally strong. I mean, I have analyzed it hard. Every time I go there, that's all I do is think about exactly how come these economies are considered bigger than ours. Then I realize these are made up numbers. That's exchange rate numbers. So exchange rate doesn't give you a strength of the economy. Strength of the economy comes from the strength of people, products, and services, and overall, we are way better. So the younger people, there are very few left now, and they're talking to each other. But the point I want to tell them that, like he said, we are living in the brightest time of our country. And I'm so happy I still continue to live, and I hope another few years I will live to see. But I'm already very happy. I'm already very happy today because I tell everybody we are a first world country, except the cleanliness of roads. If you clean our roads and make it nicer, we are first world already. Our airports, our hotels, look at this nice facility here. I mean, this is not even, I don't know if this is the best in the city or not, but this is so good already. You don't get better than this in America. But, there's a mind that we have that America is better than ours. So, be it tech, we are innovating more. We have more startups in Bangalore. We have more startups. We have more innovators. I shouldn't say startups. There's so much going on in the country. And all of this is happening because we were being pressed and we were being suppressed before, or we were not letting we are not they were not letting us do things by the rules and regulations and constraints and restrictions and approvals and licensing. Those having gone, we are flying now. And we have just started. We have taken 2 steps and we are already world number 2 in something, world number 5 in something, world number 3 in something. It doesn't take much time to become number 1 in anything. Because the technology gap between China is ahead of us for sure. There was a little analysis earlier that Indian companies are using artificial intelligence more than American companies are using. So when we think of America, we think tech. But if you think about it, tech is only Google, Apple, and few companies like that. On day-to-day basis, we are much more user of technology than they are. Indian companies, even a small startup, they have a little bit of a chat bot at the bottom where you can do chatting and ask some questions. This is all artificial intelligence being used. So we have people who are actually using technologies to improve our life. In America, they don't do that. They don't do that. So we are already ahead of America, even in technology, in using it. And we have moved forward. We are using the same technology. Everything is the same now. Everything is the same now. There's very little difference. So we have a very bright future ahead.
Fantastic, sir. Sri Suresh Narasimha, on a very, very, very positive note, we at MBA would love to ensure that all our students are placed. But emphasis now in the last couple of years is to ensure that they become entrepreneurs. To become an entrepreneur, you need money. And nobody better than venture capitalists to fund it. Now, just to take it forward to the, in the next 25 years, where do you see, and actually how do you see, funding happening for new sets of businesses and ideas and new projects coming in? And is it feasible when you find that some of the companies are having huge losses, but still they get funding? Many people ask me this to ask you people. Now suppose Byju's, they had to withdraw from Indian cricket sponsorship because they had their losses. Their funding is happening, Uber is practically struggling, cryptos were down with quite a few others. What is your message to the budding entrepreneurs and to see how they can get their funding done?
Sir, I think we are starting from a wrong foot, right? Entrepreneur doesn't require the funding first, right? So I think, being a VC, I will tell you, right? Fund is available, right? If you have an idea, I have 5 people who will compete with me in each and every deal. And whom I will fund? I fund those who are still studying, right? I'm the one who is funding 19, 20-year-old guys who believe they can change the world, and I compete with 5 people. If you have a good idea, there is enough funding available, right? And he will, this one, etc. The problem is not the funding, right? Problems are these. Our students need to think deep. They need to come out with the ideas that are really path-breaking, right? They need to build a great team. If they have a great idea, if they have a great team, the money will come to them, right? I just want to tell few things that are more important from the institution perspective, right? Let's say the challenge, why we'll not see too many MBAs becoming entrepreneurs, right? Just to repeat, I have invested in 40 startups, right? All of them are technology guys, most of them are technology people. And average age of my entrepreneurs are 19 years, and all of them are CGPA 9.0 and above, right? So out of 40 startups, 60% of the startups are run by women co-founders, and they are doing better than the boys, right? That's one more point, right? Out of 40 startups, 20 of them have already generated revenue. The reason why I'm telling you is they are still in college, right? At least out of 40, 35 of them are still in their final year engineering or 1 or 2 in the MBAs, right? The challenge we have in the MBA, right? Because you asked about MBA. Sir, students in MBA don't have time, right? That's a policy that we want to take. If someone wants to come and build an HR tech startup, why do you want to force him to study the good old HR practices that you guys had learned 20 years back, right? So what is required, I'm just taking an example, right?
You're absolutely right.
Supply chain today is different, right? So we go and say that we start saying that digital or the cryptocurrencies are going down the line and we'll give them a bigger picture. But I can tell you, there are, as we speak, right, there is someone in some corner of the world who is reimagining the economy using crypto, right? So what we need to tell the students is, please go explore. What you need to look into is the problem and then come out with a solution which is deeper. Don't bog down by what are the current trends or what you are listening to today, right? Focus on the problem at hand, have a purpose in life. In fact, I tell 3 things to all the students to become entrepreneurs. First, if you don't know Kannada, learn Kannada. If you are in Bangalore, learn Kannada. That's the first thing, right? If you are not used to reading fictions, please go and read fiction. If possible, read Bhagavad Gita, or at least go and read fiction. Forget about all your business books, all your self-help books. Go and read the fictions. Go and read our classics, right? Third one, please go and work in a not-for-profit organization. These attributes will help you create a better idea than that. I mean, we heard amazing stuff from Tulsi and even from Vishwanath Bhatt. And in fact, even Amitabh sir just mentioned it. If you think you want to build a great company from India, you need to think like an Indian, right? You can't think like an American and then become the next billionaire, right? That era is done, right? Next set of startups will come around. This is what I believe. Next set of startups will come around leveraging Indian aesthetics, right? You just was talking about the movies. How many of us heard of Anandavardhana here? How many of you have heard of Anandavardhana? Right? This is the problem, right? Anandavardhana is probably India's biggest contribution to the world, as good as probably, I will rate him like Shankaracharya or some of the greatest thinkers India has. India is the one which gave the world the concept of Rasa Siddhi, Rasa Dhwani and other stuff, right? So, if you think Indian aesthetics needs to be understood by the student, if you want to get into entertainment, you go back to Indian basics and study that, right? So, anyway, sorry, I mean, I just digress this one. The point is, what I want our students to do it, first one, have confidence, think big. Sorry to say that, don't listen to your teachers, right? Go back, I'm really saying, I really meant it, right? Go back, think big, you can be world leaders, pick up the problems and purposes that you are truly passionate about. There is enough capital available, there is enough support available, and there is enough market available, right? All that they need to do is they need to go and start, right? There is nothing which is stopping from them, and the institutions need to understand entrepreneurship is not a service, but probably that's the way you leverage your brightest students to become your brand ambassadors, right?
Thank you, sir. That's why I started my question thing on the positive note, because whoever I spoke to, they only started to speak in terms of seeing where businesses are falling and not moving around. I knew what you had in your thing, and I'd heard about it. And and my premise of the question was to get a very positive trend, and you really struck the nail right on the head. Thank you so much. And let me thank the panel once again. Okay, Dr. Sri Vishwanath Bhatt in absence here. I thank. Yes, sir. Sir, this is Dr. Srikanta. Here the question. Heli, sir. Hey.
Okay, when he picks up the mind, they say here is an open innovation. Any youngsters who thinks he has a brilliant idea, don't worry about your team, don't worry about your plan, don't worry about your number. If you think you have an idea, please reach out to us. We'll be happy to fund you and support you.
See, coming to the... Sir, I have only a small question. Coming to the startup, position in India. As of now, I think I'm told that there are about 80,000 plus startups in India. And also now the Minister for Commerce recently made a statement that the startups in India are prone to failures. I mean, can you just, what made the minister to make such a statement?
Sir, that's worldwide.
Though we have I think in the world we have the third largest ecosystem as far as the startups are concerned.
No, startups are bound to failure, right? So for every 10 startups, there are very high risks, so they will fail. It's not that Indian startups will fail more. That's not what he said. In fact, Indian startups as an average are able to do better than what we have seen in the rest of the world, right? So, and I think, sir, I will tell you, if you start a startup, it can fail. But if students start a startup, it will never fail. I always say that. I mean, you means me, right? It includes me. The chances of anyone who is above 40, I'm above 40, building a $1 billion company is probably 1% compared to the youngsters. I just want to say this. Startups can fail, but entrepreneur will never fail, right? If you become a The best thing that you can do is when you are on the campus, build a startup. Three things can happen, right? You build a successful startup, right? Someone will come and chase you value at 10, $15 million and give you $2 million, right? Your life is done.
No, even in Bangalore, for example.
One second, the second one. If not, you build a product, someone will come and acquire you, right? If you can't do this, because you have attempted something when you are in college, someone will come and give you 3x the salary, right? So as a student, building your startup is the best career hack that you can have. Please, sir.
Sir, Dr. Srikanta, one way to look at the answer for your question. Hello? Yeah. Dr. Srikanta, one way to look at the answer for your question, I just want you to go to Wikipedia and have a look at Sridhar Vembu's Zoho Corporation. The man who started it, made it a 40,000 crore company, no question of leverage or in common man's language, debt, and ensured that he will not be acquired. I mean, Sridhar Vembu is a giant example to the world of this. And
See, one or two examples will be there, but I'm giving the general picture actually. See, one or two definitely will excel in any field for that matter. But generally, in fact, in Bangalore also, I'm told, many startups, within 4 or 5 years, they're closed. So I just wanted to know what's the reason why it's happening like that.
Sir, the bubble could burst at any time. There are people who will ensure that your business may not succeed or your own project may not be that good enough. That could be one of the reasons. Otherwise, all the people who I have met who are entrepreneurs, they haven't had any losses. My own friends who are connected with Suresh Narasimha have done great. And to call a spade, I'm entering into an MOU with Sri Narasimha's team, wherein he has given us a proposal. The proposal is, ask any set of your students to come up with an idea. If his idea is good enough, we will train him for a span of 40 hours in the first session, 30 hours in the next, and another 40 hours by the time he completes his third semester. If it is good, we will fund him to the tune of 1.5 crores. His initial contribution to join and get his idea and to be taught by 100 top CEOs of the company for the period of 40, 30 and 40 hours is 10,000 rupees. If all is good, they return that amount back. That means at zero cost, more than getting that 1.5 crores, the gyan that you could earn is unbelievable. To meet and talk to top CEOs every day for the next 110 days is unbelievable. So I am on a very strong premise of getting entrepreneurship and startups doing very well. Yes, there will be failures. We have got a lot of people struggling, but that's the way forward. We need to think in terms of giving job providers and not job seekers. Like 41 years I've been working. I've got a lot of people jobs.